Hello there and welcome to Dateline Lagos. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. On the program, Lagos State empowers farmers to boost food security, Governor Sanwo-Olu gives update on COVID-19, Lagos holds 2022 Budget Consultative Forum, and the state government present checks to families of officers who died in the line of duty. Efforts to boost food production in Lagos State is in top gear as Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu empowers 3,000 farmers with modernized equipment to help achieve 50% increase by the year 2025. Let's take a look.
Tractors, plows, fishing boats, harvesters, threshers, destoning machines, herbicides, and other modernized farming inputs are displayed at the Police College Ikeja, all for farmers in Lagos State. It's the 2021 Agricultural Value Chains Enterprise Activation Program targeted at supporting women and youth in the agriculture sector of the state. It's also for farmers in different fields that are here to benefit from this year's empowerment scheme. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, his deputy Kadri Hamzat, and other cabinet members arrive at the venue. This year's initiative is aimed at expanding the agricultural sector, driven by a farm-to-table model that aligns with making Lagos a truly 21st century economy. The State Commissioner for Agriculture explains how it will be achieved.
The maiden edition of this program was flagged off on the Thursday, 16th October 2014, and since that time, this government of APC has actually made about 13,976 people beneficiaries of this program. The Agricultural Value Chains Enterprise Activation Program has therefore been designed to provide smallholder farmers, fishermen, agro-processors, and marketers with agricultural inputs and productive assets, with the objectives of contributing to inclusive agricultural growth in Lagos State, creating access for beneficiaries to exit the poverty trap and reduce the number of people at the bottom of the economic pyramid, thus opening avenues for marketing of agricultural produce, and to provide a social safety net for youth, women, and the vulnerable. In the long run, it is envisaged that these efforts and many others in the agricultural ecosystem will enable the state transit from being a food-consuming state to a major food-producing state, especially with regards to fisheries, piggery, and poultry production, as well as the coconut value chain.
It's a different ball game this time, as the state government is ready to provide the needed capital for farmers to increase their food production.
This initiative, this activation program, is not cosmetic. It's not shere at all. What it means is that we are going to be providing our farmers with the needed capital, with the needed asset to scale up their business. And by doing so, if we succeed, it means that we are going to create more employment. If we succeed, it means that GDP will grow. If we succeed, it means that food security will be a thing of the past. It wouldn't be a risk anymore for Lagos State. That is our commitment from the Ministry of Finance, and we continue to support this initiative. And as you are being given the asset and the capital to start, we are not just going to leave you alone by giving those assets. We'll make sure that we provide and partner to provide technical training, business essentials training, training on financial knowledge, and we are also going to commission a business monitoring framework, because we are not just interested in giving out these assets or capital, we are interested in the output, we are interested in the success. And by doing so, we remain absolutely assured that success that we've recorded in the past will be little compared to what we are going to record from now on.
The Oniru of Iruland, His Royal Highness Abdulwasiu Lawal, who used to run the affairs of the Ministry of Agriculture before taking his new role, asks the farmers to key into the initiative and make good use of the opportunities on their table.
This is what we call inclusive governance. This is what we call inclusive empowerment. Whether you are a rural farmer or an urban farmer or a city trader, you are here to collect the benefit of the value chain empowerment. Mr. Governor, the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture, thank you very much. I have people from some of our communities there that are going to be beneficiaries, and I want to assure you, for those that we know, we will ensure that whatever they get from this empowerment, we will ensure that we monitor them on our own. And come next year, they will come back to tell us, to give us testimony that 2021, when Governor Sanwo-Olu empowered me with 30 crates of eggs, today I am now a business tycoon. I now market eggs to the tunes of thousands of eggs. That is the testimony we want to hear next year by the grace of Almighty God.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu takes the stage announcing that 3,000 farmers will be benefiting from this scheme to help boost food security and scale up production from 20% to 50%.
Through this activation program, this administration will be supporting over 3,000 women, youth, and vulnerable Lagosians with equipment, with agricultural inputs that will help you make a significant difference in the quality and the scale of your agricultural practice. This intervention will cut across a wide range of participants in the agricultural value chain. We'll look at farmers, we'll look at processors and merchants of fish, of piggery, of poultry, as well as rice and other crops. I'm sure you all know about our 32 metric ton per hour rice mill in Mota. This rice mill will produce 2.4 million bags of 50 kg rice annually, and it will create over 200,000 jobs at Imota. Well, we're believing that we should complete, and start production of this rice mill by the fourth quarter of this year. The determination to increase the food production is for the states to move from the current production of about 20% to be able to do 40 to 50% within the next 5 years.
The farmers say this will go a long way in reducing their costs of production.
We now want to appreciate the Lagos State government that they have come to cushion the effect of what these women farmers have been facing. They have provided us with the smoking clean, poultry feeds, fish feeds, pig feeds, and all other empowerments that they have done. This empowerment is going to help us to boost our business, help us to grow our business, help us to even employ more labor, and help us to provide enough food for Lagos State. And this will help us to also curb this food security that we're talking about.
Lagos State government has trained us on rearing birds, the layers. They've also been able to support us with feeds for the birds. The new training has also empowered us to have new birds, to also practice on the things that they've taught us. And it's a very good initiative by the government, to empower the cooperative societies and agricultural institutions in Lagos to boost food production and to also empower those that are less privileged to be able to get these facilities on their own. And we are very grateful.
The environment is surrounded by water, and with water you can wet your land. That is all-round farming. And with all-round farming, you can plant both crops, you can rear both animals, you can rear fishes, you can rear pigs, and these are all the areas that my association, the Animal Science Association of Nigeria, we are very strong in all these value chains, and we wish that we will get across to the appropriate individuals in the government to submit a working paper on how to collaborate with the Lagos State government to ensure that their program is well managed and is well trickled down to the masses.
Then the governor inspects some of the equipment. Train youths in aquaculture, poultry production, pig farming, fishing, rice farming, and artisans are all beneficiaries of the Lagos State Agricultural Value Chains Program.
Lagos State is already experiencing the third wave of the dreaded COVID-19 pandemic, and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is already appealing to residents to obey the non-pharmaceutical guidelines and stay safe. Only then we can win the battle against coronavirus.
Lagos State is beginning to feel the impacts of the third wave of COVID-19 pandemic in its isolation centers, with the positive rate going from 1.1% at the end of June to 7% at the end of July. As at the 1st of August 2021, the rate had gone up to 8.9%, and this worries the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, as he briefs the public on the situation at hand.
So this has shown that we've seen about 8-fold increase over the recorded figure a month ago. And it should rightly alarm all of us. This had resulted in about 4,300 confirmed cases nationally in July alone, and we've seen about 355 admission in our isolation center within the month of July alone. And in the course of managing COVID-19, we have seen, unfortunately, about 319 fatality in Lagos, and over 5,000 have also been admitted at our various isolation centers in Lagos. Of that fatality, we've seen about 30 that has happened within the beginning of this third wave. Essentially, we have recorded an average of 6 deaths per day in the last 1 week. Now that it's fully upon us, we must dig deep with what we have learned from the first and the second wave, and as we summon the will to do everything necessary to bring down the numbers on the way to eventually defeating the virus once again by all of us.
Speaking on the vaccination strategy, he says Lagos will be receiving Moderna vaccine, but warns that those who have received the AstraZeneca are not to take another brand for their own safety.
About 1% of our population have received the double dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. This is quite low, especially considering that we now have confirmed cases of the third wave, and we're exploring all avenues to possibly ramp up access to vaccination so as to reach what we see as a global herd immunity of about 60% of the population. Nigeria received 4 million doses of the Moderna vaccine. Lagos being the epicenter that will receive a sizable amount of this allocation once the testing, and that we believe will be completed before the end of this week once it's been completed. These vaccines cannot be mixed with the AstraZeneca vaccines. Let me repeat, for people that have taken the first dose of the AstraZeneca, they cannot mix it with the Moderna that has just been received now. But we're still expecting a second allocation of the AstraZeneca vaccine, and we've been assured that they should come before the end of this month. To manage the third wave of this pandemic, the Eco-Telements will continue to focus on monitoring and tracking inbound passengers and cases in our various communities. We will also not hesitate to impose sanctions and penalties on all those who are caught violating the rules.
The state government is appealing to residents to adhere to all non-pharmaceutical interventions, avoid non-essential movement, and win the war against coronavirus.
Dear Lagosians, the second wave of the deadly coronavirus pandemic is here. Its new strain is easily transmitted and deadlier. Coronavirus symptoms are fever, dry cough, tiredness, difficulty in breathing. We can all prevent the spread of this virus through appropriate and regular use of face masks, avoiding close contact with people who are at high risk, washing our hands regularly with soap and running water, especially after visiting the toilet, before eating, and after coughing or sneezing, using alcohol-based hand sanitizer, maintaining at least 1.5 meters or 5 feet distance from anyone coughing or sneezing, covering our mouths with tissue while coughing or sneezing, and brushing the tissue. If you feel unwell and show symptoms of coronavirus, or you notice anyone who does, please call the Lagos State Emergency Hotlines 08000 ECOMED or 0803 3356 5529. Many are dead. Don't fall victim or die in ignorance. Report now. Together, we will overcome this challenge. Igbega Ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Àjùmọ̀ṣe, Lagos State Government. Announcer.
The third quarter of the year is still running, but it won't be long before it winds down. Already, the Lagos State Government is making plans for next year by holding its 2022 Budget Consultative Forum to achieve an all-inclusive budget for the people.
Has a very interesting way.
The Lagos State Government has brought together stakeholders in different communities to discuss the 2022 budget policy tool for achieving the short, medium and long-term development plan for residents across the state. It's an opportunity to listen to the people, and the government is kicking off the 2022 Budget Consultative Forum from Ikeja.
This year's consultative forum is aimed at deepening the inconclusive of citizens in governance by ensuring that inputs are obtained from every stakeholder in each of the 5 divisions of Lagos State CBS. It is important to note that these inputs shall be considered in the budget preparation process towards ensuring that a robust and an all-inclusive appropriation bill is developed to guide the governance process for the people of Lagos State in the year 2022.
The Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning says the state's economy is still in a recovery process and hopes to stabilize it as fast as possible.
We are beginning to improve in the revenue collection mechanism, but we believe from economic planning and budget that we can do significantly much more by getting more people to participate on a tax basis in the growth of Lagos State, both individuals, the private sector, and households generally. When we then go into the budget performance in terms of the budget size as at half year, we have significantly moved the needle, and our performance as at half year now stands at 81%. And I think this is a good place to just clap your hands and acknowledge it. It's not easy to demonstrate this size of performance coming out of a pandemic and battling the third wave of COVID-19. We continue to service all our loans as and when due, and recently we even went ahead to pay down significantly on our loans, basically to say, listen, we need better terms from the banking industry and from the investing public to reduce our loan book in terms of more expensive loans and replacing them with less expensive loans to cause your government to have significant amounts of savings. In terms of capital expenditure, we have achieved 76%. From a budget size of about 351 billion as at half year, we have gone up to 268 billion.
He also highlights what the state government will be doing in 2022 to ensure economic growth.
It's our view that consumption will remain flat at a compounded growth rate of about 4%. And given that situation, we do not expect significant increase to come out of our VAT and our VAT position. But because we are approaching a lot of stability, right, it is important that we constrain our expectation on how inflation will improve. So we believe that inflation will improve very gradually to about the 15% ranges in 2022 to 16 and then flatten out again in subsequent years. So what do we think the budget will look like in terms of revenue forecast? We believe that it will grow also gradually. We're expecting a compounded annual growth of about 13%, and it will be driven largely by internally generated revenue and federal transfers. So we are looking at roughly that revenues will move up in 2022 to about 1.14 trillion from the current expectation of 971. So we expect that we should be able to achieve about a 3.5% growth in GDP in 2022.
Then the floor is open for stakeholders to make their demands.
The 20 local governments and the 37 LCDAs, not all of us has ambulance. We want the state government to purchase an ambulance and furbish it for us, and to get trained ambulance drivers for us. We want the Lagos state government, sir, to increase from 9.11% the budget of the health to 15%.
TB funding approvals and releases have been very poor and dismal, about 2%. And we are seeing how that can be increased. Same with AIDS, HIV/AIDS. AIDS is very much still with us, even though COVID has taken over, but the budget performance has been dismal. We need to improve on that. Tropical diseases in Nigeria, we need to be proactive. These are quick wins. And of course, disability, budgetary provisions to enhance accessibility to healthcare facilities for persons with disabilities.
Our vision is that there will be healthy mothers and healthy babies. And for that to be achieved, we need the state to make appropriate budget for essential life-saving commodities so that these commodities can be purchased and be available and be assessed at all the primary healthcare centers, including also the family planning consumables. Because when the consumables are available at the PSCs, the women will be able to access it. And we are asking that this be increased from 50 million to 100 million in the next budget.
Koshofe local government is appealing for the establishment and construction of fire service station, because throughout in that area, there is none around Koshofe, and they want one to be constructed. Secondly, if you go through Abattoir, the canal crossing Abattoir to Orile Agege LCDA is already collapsing and is very dangerous for our people. We want the Lagos state government to help us look into that.
A list of requests is submitted to the state government. The Commissioner for Local Government and Community Affairs responds to the issues raised.
Poverty is a major cause of a lot of problems that can lead to sickness, maybe even stress. Thinking about the situation of poverty can lead to that. Then the person ends up in hospital. Over 500 people have died from cholera. And what causes that? Simple infection from water causes cholera. So government has to do a lot of all this. And when those ones are right, the idea is that the pressure on our hospitals reduce. The number of people who would have to present in the hospitals to seek medical intervention, that number will reduce. If that number reduces, then you will have less to expend on procuring drugs and other things that come with preparing to treat people.
The administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says it is committed to participatory governance and will do all it can to ensure that everyone is carried along to achieve the smart city dream.
And the Lagos state government presented 30 million naira checks to families of police officers who sadly lost their lives in the course of providing security. Let's take a look.
Family members of police officers who lost their lives in the line of duty are here at the Lagos House, Alausa Ikeja.
The Chief of Staff.
The vacuum they left is being felt by their family members. But their story is about to change as the state government is stepping in to support the family of 3 Nigeria police officers who died in the line of duty.
We are here to give a token to those families. 3 in numbers. Why this is just a recognition of their service to the state, to Nigeria, and to humanity. The officers, sir, are 3 in numbers, 2 from RRS and 1 from the task force. They died while in active duty.
The Chief of Staff to the State Governor, Tayo Inde, says the gesture is to help the family of the deceased get back to their feet.
This is not going to be the last one. Your husband, your father, they are heroes, and they will never be forgotten. And I want to tell all our serving officers not to be discouraged, that this is Nigeria, this is Lagos, and we are here to serve our people, and this kind of thing will not be their portion in the mighty name of God. God will continue to be with them, and once again accept the condolences of the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu.
Then a check of 10 million naira is presenting to each of the 3 families. A total of 30 million naira has been awarded to families of Olufemi Odeniyi, Akinola Olatubosun, and Olamide Omishore, who died in the line of duty in Lagos State.
Well, that's it for this edition of the program, Dateline Lagos. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Till next time, please stay safe.